The Bible makes reference to money more than 2,300 times. And I can't lie, if you're making reference to something more than 2,000 times, there must be something important in how it needs to be nurtured. The Bible isn't just about faith. The Bible is full of wisdom, it's full of gems on how we can be good financial stewards. And as someone who has invested over 6 figures by the age of 25, I wanted to create a video today on the biblical principles that have helped me be somewhat of a good financial steward. If you want to hear what those principles are, I want you to grab a pen, I want you to grab a paper, I want you to get comfortable because we're going to spill the tea in today's video. In no particular order, we have the parable of the talents, which can be found in Matthew 25:14-30. And in essence, this parable is about a master who has 3 servants, and he gives each of his servants different talents. He gives servant A 1 talent, servant B 2 talents, and servant C 5 talents. And when he comes back, he asks the servants what they've done with their talent. And 2 of the servants have multiplied their talents, and one of them was fearful and did nothing with his talent. And the master was upset with him and took his talent and gave it to the others. So easy to say, I've only got £5 or I've only got £10, I can't do this. If I have £100, then I'll do this. That is a wrong mentality to have when it comes to money. It's what you do to the £5 that you will do to the £100 that you will do to the £100,000. That parable has taught me that A, shouldn't be afraid to take risk. B, it's taught me that there is an expectation in whatever we've given, God expects us to multiply it. And if we don't understand how to multiply it, A, we can go back to him and ask him for wisdom, but also it's our responsibility to upskill and to educate ourselves to be able to be good stewards of what he's given onto us. And C, it's taught me that if you don't look after something well, he will take it away from you and he will give it to someone else. The servant that didn't multiply his talent, it was taken away and it was given to the one who did an amazing job in multiplying. The next verse that I love is Proverbs 6:6-8. Side note, when I read Proverbs, I'm fighting for my life because it will read you before you read it. So Proverbs 6:6-8 says, "Take a lesson from the ants, you lazy bones. Learn from their ways and become wise. Though they have no prince or governor or ruler to make them work, they labor hard all summer, gathering food for the winter." This verse teaches me that there is an expectation for us to be aware of A, what season we're in, and B, what is required of us in that season. So are you a season where you need to be working hard, you need to be investing? Are you in a season where you need to be educating yourself and going to conferences and changing your network and speaking to people so you can understand more about finances? Or are you in a season where you've done the hard work, you've invested, and now it's time for you to have fun and to enjoy the return of your money? The next verse is Proverbs 21:5, which says, "Good planning and hard work leads to prosperity, but hasty shortcuts lead to poverty." And the key takeaway from this is A, financial education and financial planning goes a long way. Having the knowledge and then being able to apply it is where true wisdom actually is. And the Bible also talks about good planning. There's no point trying to execute with no plan because that will just be an absolute disaster. And the other thing that this verse reminds me of is that slow and steady actually wins the race. It's not about how quickly you get to a destination. It's being intentional, it's being diligent, it's putting the work in and sticking to the roadmap that you create that helps you win. And if you do things too quickly, the outcome is likely to be bad because your decision making abilities will probably be off. The next verse, Ecclesiastes 11:6, and it says, "In the morning sow your seed, and in the evening do not withhold your hand, for you do not know which will prosper, this or that, or whether both alike will be good." This verse taught me 3 things. The first thing that it taught me is it's important to be consistent. It makes reference to the morning and it also makes reference to the evening. You can't expect crazy results if you do something as a one-off, if you invest as a one-off, unless you're super lucky or you're just gambling. It's the consistency of your investing that will yield fruits in the long run. The second thing is the Bible actually makes reference to diversification. It says that you should sow seed in the morning and you should also sow seed in the evening. In other words, you should be doing different things with your hands because you just don't know which one will blow. In other words, don't lay your eggs in one basket. And when we relate that to the world of money, it's basically saying don't invest in just one asset class, invest in different asset classes. And the third thing is you should be doing something with your hands. In this verse, it makes reference to sowing. That's an action, right? You can't do nothing and expect a harvest. You can't do nothing and expect to 10x or to 20x your money. And this verse is such a juxtaposition. This verse is Proverbs 11:25, and it says, "The generous will prosper. Those who refresh others will themselves be refreshed." It's not your typical finance advice. Like, your typical finance advice will be save. If someone needs money, don't give it to them because you have your own personal targets to hit. But the Bible says the opposite. It says actually that you give. There's another verse in the Bible that talks about the person who gives becomes wealthier and the person who is stingy begets poorer. And it just shows that actually the emphasis of gaining wealth isn't just for yourself, even though God is a good God and he will meet our needs, but it's actually being able to bless others. Like, you are rich and you are wealthy when you're able to impact the life of other people. It also reminds me of tithing. Like, when you trust God and give him back his 10%, you're basically saying that, God, I'm giving you back this 10% because I know that you can do more with the 90% than I could do with 100%. And the act of giving and trusting creates in you the habit of being able to give, even if you feel uncomfortable, even if you feel like you don't have, like, encourages you to be generous and to move from thinking about yourself to thinking about other people. If we look at billionaires and millionaires, so many of them give away crazy amounts of their wealth because they recognize that there are people less privileged who have so much potential, but money is a limiting factor. And so in short, the Bible basically reminds us that we need to work hard because you can't have a soft life without putting in the hard work. B, to be diligent, to be intentional, to come up with a plan, to come up with a strategy. C, to not despise what we have. Even if it's a small amount, it's our responsibility to grow that small amount into a bigger amount and then implement what we've learned in that process to make that amount of money grow further and further. And I can't remember what point I'm on, but the next point is to diversify our money because you just never know which asset class is going to blow up. And the world is always changing. There's always some form of advancement. And lastly, wealth, true wealth, isn't about having 10,000 Birkin bags. It's actually been able to impact 10,000 plus, okay, maybe not 10,000 plus people, but it's being able to impact people. It's not just about you, but it's about the people around you and having a heart for the people around you. So yeah, that is my spiel. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. If there are any other verses that talk about wealth that I haven't made reference to that you love, let me know in the comment section because I would love to hear. And that's it from me. I'll put in the description box and on the screen other playlists related to personal finance and investing, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!